Welcome back, guys, to Phoenix Wright Justice for All, as we get to our first day of trial through the gumshoe testimony. As we know, it's always a nice little lull of calm before the storm, you could say, until the real witnesses come out. However, we are already being picked on over the events of the murder weapon and the whatnot. So let's get straight into it. Where in the world did this knife come from? If it pleases the court, I would like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Matt on guard. Especially what was on top of his table. There is something missing. Perhaps it is a single knife. We investigated the leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Matt on guard's knife was missing. Mr. On guard had gone to the victim's room with a knife he had used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife on a visit? To kill, of course. And with that, I believe the prosecution has proven this was a premeditated murder. Amazing, Mr. Edgeworth. Absolutely brilliant. A brilliantly clear deduction. It seems like Edgeworth had this plan from the very beginning. This must be one of those traps, and I just walked headlong into it. A murder weapon with fingerprints and a button from the victim's costume. There's quite a sizable amount of evidence here. I can safely say that any further deliberation is a waste of your Honour's time. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defence were to present evidence not yet shown to the court. What could we really do in that case? Evidence not yet shown? He means evidence that the court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence. What does the defense have to say about this, Mr. Wright? Well, Phoenix, the judge is favouring the prosecution right now. If we answer with something wrong here, that gavel of his will be ringing out to the sound of our defeat. Mr. Wright, do you have something important and necessary to present to this court? It sounds very much like I have to. There's one piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something that this court has yet to see. Mr. Wright, I will say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I am giving you one chance, and only one. What the judge is saying, Mr. Wright, is don't try pulling one of your usual bluffs here. If I mess this up, it's curtains for all of us. You may now present one and only one piece of evidence. Now then, the full health bar. What is this important evidence you must show to the court? Right. Little bit of pressure. There's the stuff we can't show to the court, etc., etc. There's the stuff that bears no standing to what we're currently talking about. And then there's basically the stuff we are talking about, the knife being inside. And mainly the glass on the counter. If there was water spilled on the thing, then of course something's fallen off, which is a vase onto the thing. Why is it there? Why is it standing up, so tall and proud? That's an inconsistency within the crime scene, isn't it? Take that! This is a wine glass, is it not? Please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time. The scene is a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. The vase was broken. His makeup is all over the floor. These were all things that were at one point sitting on top of the dresser. Well, yes, I see your point. However, this glass is sitting on the top of the dresser, is mysteriously untouched. The only thing that had not fallen over along with everything else is this wine glass. This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant further consideration. Well, what do you all have to say? Well, yes, it is a little peculiar. Yes, isn't it? I thought it was. You can stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours now. Mr. Edgeworth? What is it, Your Honor? Your opinion! You don't need my opinion. Because there is no special meaning to that glass. What? It's safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place. By the person who discovered the body. Adrian Andrews, for example. She could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking. That does sound very plausible. Mr. Wright? I don't think that's plausible at all. Could Miss Andrews really have set that glass down without thinking? Over the body? I mean, you know, over the body, over the rest, over the crime scene? I don't think so. And the bottle of stuff that we know it came from is on the opposite side as well. So she's had to put it there, then walk around, then put it down. Doesn't make any sense. If I appear weak here, the trial is over. I can look for my proof later. For now, I should trust my instinct and point with certainty. They just might fall for it, if you're thought-provoking enough. The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We would like to see something that proves it was Miss Andrews who set the cup on the table. Plus, of course, you've got fingerprints and all that to look at. You've turned the situation on its head yet again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any proof to back up your claim? There's no way he has any. He's just bluffing. Unlike Mr. Wright, I never say anything unless I have the evidence to support it. What? You're not thinking hard enough today, Wright? Did you think this wine glass escaped my notice? Then... Of course it has been thoroughly inspected. The fingerprints. Fingerprints? There were only one set of fingerprints left on this wine glass. Only one? Well, whose were they? They were not the victims nor the defendants. Rather, they were one of Adrian Andrews. What? Right, so we now have an updated court record thing, but that's just not good for us anyway. That is why I said that the person who had discovered the body had left it there. Are we done here, Mr. Wright? I can't believe I fell into another trap! Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Corrida. It's still a weird thing to do. Upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down on the dresser. What you just said makes a lot of sense. Now do you see, Wright? You can't change any part of my scenario as it explains everything all too well. I thought long and hard this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor. And from here on out, I will show you the answer I've come to discover. Wait a second, Mr. Edgeworth. I think the prosecution has provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict. Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. The prosecution has yet another witness we would like the court to hear from. Another witness? Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness. What in the world is Mr. Edgeworth thinking? I think I have an idea of that, at the very least. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. I don't really want to. Witness, your name and occupation, please. Ah! Ha! Gotcha! Okay. I wonder what happened to that calm composure he had earlier. Maybe he didn't know that his witness was Old Bag. Maybe he just thought it was a weird spaceman and never saw inside a lovely helm, dome, goldfish bowl thing. Oh, Hedgie boy, it's been what, a year since we last met, hasn't it? You should be more happy to see me. I saw the report with her testimony, but who knew that under that helmet, he really didn't. He was the Wicked Witch of the witness stand. I tell you, this time I know what I'm supposed to do. So today I'm going to tell you anything and everything. Even things that don't have to do with that terrible crime. Miss Witness, that terrible crime is all this court needs to know. Oh. Shush! I'm talking to my dear Edgy Wedgie right now. Don't interrupt the scraps. Yes, madame. No, please, by all means, interrupt her. Please! Anyway, witness, your testimony, please. It's true what they say, that youth are hot-headed nowadays. Not that I mind at all, edgy. Now then, what should I start with? She's in a joyful voice, of course. The witness was on security detail at the hotel on the night of the murder. Is this correct, Miss Oldbag? It was a great job being able to see my dearly Juan. It was almost too much for my little heart to handle. You mean you were a fan of the victim? Look, everyone is crazy over that on guard saying he's cute in a fresh way or something. But not me. I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, I have no interest in a little child like him. I'm only interested in a real man, Juan Kalida. But those two were the same age. Anyway, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night. Very well. Please tell the court what you witnessed the night of the murder. Leave it to me, Edgy Poo! And the stern face reappears. Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around in the hallway in front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know. Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. It was in guard. Matt on guard! Ah! He was trying to sneak his way out of the Juan's room! Why is he getting angry? So Mr. On guard came out from the victim's room. See, it has to be him. He's the murderer! I see. Well, Mr. Light, you may begin your cross-examination. Do I care to, really, though? No one wants to hear, that's for sure. Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around the hallway in front of his room. Why? I'm guessing this will go into the tabloid stories soon. Miss Oldbag, what was your post on that night? The lobby. I was supposed to help set up the stage for that trifling show. But I refused to help. I'll have you know, it was for that lead-headed samurai show. Ha! I even took out a few of the nails. Maybe it was a good thing the show didn't go on. Besides, that manager with the glasses seemed to be working hard at it without me. So I thought I'd take a break and spread my wings a little. And that's when you went to hang around the victim's door? There was something I was interested in finding out, you know. Something you were interested in? And just what was that? It's not some little thing I can just go around telling everyone, you know! It's top secret between me and Juan. Ah, an Edgy Poo, of course. Mr. Edgeworth, what is this thing she was interested in? I have no idea. I despise gossip, Your Honor. Gossip? But should it prove relevant, we can always have it appended to a testimony later. It looks like we shouldn't force it right now. And did the witness stay in the vicinity of the victim's door the entire time? Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. Did you now? Oh, then would you tell us the number of people who went in and out of Mr. Karida's room? I have no idea! I wasn't born so I could count things for those who didn't pay attention in class! That's why ever since I turned 20, I quit keeping track of how old I really am. Yes, well, that would explain why your age was not included in the report. Really wasn't. That's interesting to know. In any case, the witness then saw someone, correct? I just had to follow that one up. I was like, oh, does it? Does it not? That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. Who in the world was that? I'm not allowed to say. This sort of information has to be carefully guarded from the Master Sunny. The man that came out of Juan's room. It was... he was... Yes, he was. Oh, I'm too scared. I can't say his name out loud. Oh, what I wouldn't give to have Franziska's whip right about now. Well, I guess I can tell you, since he was such a bad boy anyway. He was on guard! Matt on guard! He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room! Okay. Chill. You saw my client? Are you sure about that? You see? Really?
Annoying brat! When I said I saw someone, I saw that person!
Why do I get a sense of deja vu? Maybe to avoid a repeat of last year, I should delve into this a bit further. Should I about the person's face or what the person was carrying or the person's clothes? I think that probably sounds like the more interesting point, I have to say, because we know a button was left behind on the scene. Please tell the court about the man's clothes in more detail.
What a troublesome man you are, really! As if something like that matters!
But it does. Now, what was it? Oh yes, it was that thing. What thing? That gaudy thing he's always wearing? That racing jacket? Ah, he was wearing that at the detention center too. That thing's meant for nothing but seducing women out of their pantaloons. Men! Right.
So, Mr. Wright, was this testimony just now important or relevant in any way?
I think it was very important because he wasn't wearing the gear. He wasn't wearing the gear. Of course it was important, Your Honor.
Objection!
Then perhaps you would like to point out what part of that testimony was important. Don't you see it, Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request what the witness said about the jacket be appended to her testimony.
I don't quite see where you're going with this, but all right, witness, please.
Ah, well, I don't like to badmouth anyone without reason, but if I must. He was wearing his flashy racing jacket. Honestly, it's all just for show. Well, the button is more the point here, isn't it? It's just... he wasn't wearing something got onto something when it was bloody, etc., etc. Basically that.
Objection!
Basically that. Miss Oldbag.
What? Don't say my name for no reason!
Do you know what this is?
Nah! It's button number 2!
Button number 2. They have numbers and names. They're like deliberate positions. I'm confused.
Ah! It's button number 2 on the Gemma Ninja's costume!
Now I know she's an obsessed fan. She identified it in a single glance.
Give it here! Give it here! If you don't give it to me, I'll punish you with this!
Wow. She really is a die-hard fan to want a button covered in blood. This button was discovered on Mr. Enguarde's body during a full-body search.
See? See? This button proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it was that rascal Enguarde.
It was caught up in the pleats of his Nickel Samurai Hakama pants.
See? See? Enguarde is the Nickel Samurai!
Witness. Now, it may just be me, and I do have an active imagination, but just now, didn't you say that the defendant, Matt Enguarde, was wearing his usual racing jacket? Yes, you did. Ah. I'm so sorry.
Sorry that you judge people based on what they wear! I wore the trendiest dress and maybe you think I was the most gorgeous ever, but I have to put up with ruin this ridiculous looking outfit. This is right, I've got a tape recorder stuck in my chest. Let me tell you, it's heavy, so heavy. I wish we could have switched the CDs ages ago, but I'm keeping that dream alive for those kids out there. I work hard with a smile on my head, don't you know? Understand now, don't look alone in the mirror. Your clothes are about as interesting as documentary on curling. You should take a tip of 10 from the entry crew. Now he's got style.
Now hold your tongue still there for 1 second. So what you saw in actuality was not Mr. Enguarde the man, but Mr. Enguarde the Nickel Samurai.
But when you think about it... What? They're really one and the same anyway. Miss Oldbag, this is a very important point we're talking about. Edgy poo! Do you think so too? Well, it might be something worth considering. Just say it's important and agree with me for a change.
Witness, think carefully and try to remember as much as you can before you testify.
Alright, if you insist. I should be the one sighing, not you. I really should be, but we move on to another segment of the testimony. Who did Miss Oldbag see? or we'll continue on, because it seems to be on guard that she saw. So on guard, you all, as we move on to the next episode of Justice for All. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.